that familiar flicker of an old television screen. The gritty dramas of 1970s and 1980s Australian television, when stories felt raw, real, and deeply human. For so many of us who grew up watching classic Aussie shows, whether on late-night reruns, cable channels, or even overseas broadcasts, those years still hold a special place in our hearts. The bold miniseries, the groundbreaking soaps, the quirky comedies that pushed boundaries and brought families together around the screen. Today, in early 2026, we pause to remember one of those familiar and talented faces. Prolific actor, writer, and director Tim Robertson, who sadly passed away on January 2nd, 2026, at the age of 81, just one day after his 82nd birthday. If you're watching this, there's a good chance you remember Tim's versatile performances across decades of Australian television and film. His work touched generations, from intense historical dramas to light-hearted comedy, reminding us of a time when storytelling was daring and deeply authentic. Born on January 1st, 1944, in Braintree, Essex, England, Tim moved to Australia with his family in 1952. He quickly embraced his new home, later graduating from the University of Western Australia in 1965. Before becoming a familiar face on screen, Tim shared his love of performance by teaching acting at universities in both Australia and the United States, helping shape the next generation of performers. His on-screen journey truly began in the early 1970s, when he joined the Australian performing group at Melbourne's legendary Pram Factory Theatre. It was a creative hotspot for experimental and groundbreaking work. There, Tim wrote, directed, and acted, playing a key role in shaping a bold new era of Australian storytelling. Tim's film breakthrough came in 1974 with Peter Weir's cult classic The Cars That Ate Paris. From there, his career expanded into some of Australia's most iconic films, including The Chant of Jimmy Blacksmith, Far Lap, The Year My Voice Broke, Evil Angels, known internationally as A Cry in the Dark, The Big Steal, and later Holy Smoke, alongside Kate Winslet and Harvey Keitel. But it was television where Tim Robertson truly became a trusted presence. Over 4 decades, he appeared in nearly 100 projects, becoming a familiar face in some of Australia's most beloved series. One of his standout early roles came in the award-winning 1976 miniseries Power Without Glory, where he portrayed Arthur West in a sweeping saga of politics, crime, and ambition that captivated the nation. In the 1980s, Tim showed his lighter side in the sketch comedy Australia You're Standing in It, delighting audiences with sharp timing and memorable characters. He also appeared in the powerful 1987 miniseries Vietnam, sharing the screen with a young Nicole Kidman during one of her earliest breakthrough roles. The 1990s brought another wave of recognition. Tim played Jack Taylor in the bold and controversial soap Chances, where his depth and charm stood out amid the drama. Around the same time, he made appearances in fan-favorite series including Prisoner, The Flying Doctors, Neighbours, Round the Twist, Ocean Girl, Halifax FP, and Snowy River, The McGregor Saga. Later in his career, Tim became a familiar figure in Australian crime dramas, with recurring roles in stingers and appearances in Blue Heelers, Crashburn, and Last Man Standing. His final on-screen credit came in 2014 with the film The Mule, quietly closing the chapter on a remarkable career. Beyond acting, Tim Robertson was a true all-round creative talent. He wrote plays, directed theater productions, and contributed as a writer across multiple forms. Colleagues often described him as a brilliant character actor with warmth, professionalism, and an unmistakable presence. A former co-star once described him as an amazing talent with an incredible range, remembering him not just for his performances, but for his generosity and kindness behind the scenes. Tim retired from acting in 2014, stepping away from the spotlight to enjoy a well-earned rest after decades of contribution to Australian entertainment. His passing on January 2nd, 2026, prompted heartfelt tributes across the industry, reminding us how deeply his work resonated. In a time when television was evolving from black and white classics to bold modern drama, Tim Robertson was there, bringing authenticity, humor, and heart to every role. Whether in a sweeping historical epic or a brief guest appearance, he made characters feel real and relatable. Though he is gone, His performances live on through reruns, streaming, and the memories of fans around the world. His legacy continues in the stories he helped tell and the generations he inspired. Thank you for joining me in remembering Tim Robertson. If his work ever made you laugh, think, or feel nostalgic for classic television, please like, share, and follow Splain Daily for more heartfelt tributes and timeless stories. And to honor his memory, let me ask you this. Which Tim Robertson role do you remember most fondly? Power Without Glory, Chances, Stingers, or another favorite? Share your memories in the comments. Rest in peace, Tim Robertson. Thank you for the memories.